Hello, my name is Dallas Thomas, and this is my presentation on organizational design, structure, and change. The company I'm going to be talking about is Yahoo. Yahoo was founded in 1994 and later became a public entity in 1996 before selling to Verizon in 2017. Yahoo started out being competitive with other email providers, but when technology started to revolutionize as Google gained more status as a search engine, Yahoo decided to try and go to the mainstream media route. If you go to Yahoo today, you will see lots of news stories, but they failed to find ways to monetize searches through the Yahoo search engine, which led to the eventual sale of the company to Verizon. Being unable to innovate and remain competitive, they were left with no other choice but to let a larger company try and fix their issues. As noted in the last slide, Yahoo eventually had to sell their company to Verizon as they just didn't have the resources to be competitive with other similar technologies due to their inability to innovate ways to differentiate themselves from everyone else. Along with this, there is still an ongoing issue with Yahoo being able to compete even after the sale of the company. According to one researcher in 2010, Google handled around 71% of all search queries, while Yahoo only handled around 15%. According to Statista.com, in 2023, Google had an 83.49% market share, while Yahoo only had a 2.72% market share. As you can see, Yahoo is not anywhere close to gaining any sort of competitive edge due to not innovating ways to separate from the leaders of the industry. This will lead to an eventual bankruptcy for the company and the end of Yahoo. According to NBC News, Yahoo has gone through 8 CEOs from 1995 to 2016. In 2012 alone, Yahoo saw 4 different CEOs take the helm of the business. This constant change of leadership is horrible when considering the growth of the business. Each of these CEOs will have different methods for the direction they want to lead the company. In the case of 2012, you are asking employees to change direction 4 different times. This means that nobody really knows what the results should be and will have little trust that the current leader will be there for any amount of meaningful time. Yahoo is also known to be extremely hierarchical, which causes issues with employees being able to have a meaningful impact on the company as they must go through a large chain of command to have their ideas heard. This leads to good ideas potentially being missed due to the nature of the company's organizational structure. The management style of Yahoo historically has disallowed open communication. I do not believe this to be intentional, but a side effect of the previously mentioned hierarchical management style. Yahoo also is not the most culturally conscious entity. They do not donate to charities, or they do donate to charities here and there, but it tends to be intent driven and has done more to get Yahoo out in the community versus doing it strictly for the community at large. Changes could definitely be made for a company like Yahoo to do more for society that could be a driver to reverse course and increase their own market share, but for the most part, they seem to be in survival mode. Cotter's 8-step change model was created for organizations to create lasting change. By emphasizing some of these areas, change can be had by Yahoo to reverse their current trajectory and begin to gain a competitive edge that has been lost over the last couple decades. The first step that needs to be accomplished is to create a sense of urgency. This can be achieved through a company meeting or memo with the highest members of Yahoo. This could be C-level executives, directors, or the such. It must be stated that the current trajectory of the company is pointing towards an inevitable bankruptcy if change is not implemented. This means loss of pay and jobs for all employees of the company. During this meeting would be a good time to announce that a team will be created that will implement changes organization-wide to avert this outcome. At this point, leadership should take the opportunity to hear from those employees who have not previously been heard. Once this team is put together, a vision of the future needs to be in place. This means gathering the data to prove what has gone wrong and what can be done to fix the issues. In the case of Yahoo, they have not taken advantage of the monetization of searches using the Yahoo engine. In addition, more importance needs to be placed on how the company can benefit the community at large beyond just being an accessible search engine. This can be done through things like charity, community outreach, and more. Next, the leadership team needs to create expansion teams to start working on the future vision. These teams should be created and willing members within the organization who are willing to work to create the change. This means that members will have to fully buy into what the leadership team is implementing, otherwise those who are not on the team are more likely to avoid change. One of the early changes is to dismantle the current management style. This style has stymied communication and created a culture where those nearer the bottom are not able to have input into how the company is run. This change will allow for all employees to feel more respected and increase the chances that they will work harder to implement this needed change. For employees to see how their work is paying off, monthly updated meetings should be held so that the change can be seen by all. It should be noted that early returns should be expected to diminish as everyone adjusts to the new environment, and it will be on leadership to keep pushing people towards the vision during this time. Once successes begin taking place, it is time to press the gas. Now that we have a workplace culture we want, it is time to implement more innovative changes. Currently, Yahoo has seen an importance on staying on a media path. This path has not been paying off, and it is time for Yahoo to understand that they are not needed as a media source at large. The transition needs to happen where the focus is on the search engine. As a search engine, they can implement technology such as AI to differentiate themselves from Google and Bing. The innovations to the search engine industry is far wider open than the media market that has had over 100 years to get where they are. As more innovations succeed, the leadership team needs to allow all employees to innovate and keep adding more changes even once the company is out of trouble. Finally, the organization needs to create new policies that reflect the changes and ensure that a more open and innovative company remains and does its best to keep from falling back to the old ways in the event any change has a momentary lapse of success. The most imminent issues with the changes I want to implement is the idea of using new technologies. For the last couple decades, Yahoo has been a news media outlet, and now they will be turning to a search engine focused organization. Implementing things like AI, better programming, and search methods that will be better than Google will cause some hesitation from employees who like the way things are. This can be managed by having more personal conversations with these employees to understand what they are hesitant about, as well as providing training on the new technologies. There will also be an issue moving away from a hierarchical organizational structure. This has been the norm not just for Yahoo, but for all organizations for over a century, and it is time to move away from this. Retraining people to see the benefit of other structures will be tough as they mostly haven't seen any other ways to structure an organization. This can be managed by being consistent with how things will change, being transparent as to who the changes will affect, and allowing feedback and room for improvement. There are many lessons to be learned through implementing such a large change to increase innovation and save the company. One is the necessity for leadership to be intentional and transparent. The only way any of this change can take hold is if all employees and leadership understand the how and the why as to what this change is being made for. While implementing the change, it cannot be overstated how important it is for leadership to help avoid employees from falling back into more comfortable ways of doing things. It also becomes important that leadership allows those that are leading to have some input on the change so that they feel they have a part to play in doing everything they can to successfully implement the change. Finally, leadership must find ways to get buy-in from the organizational members. Without this buy-in, no change will take place, and Yahoo will end up bankrupt due to how stale of a company they currently are. Thank you.